Welcome back, everybody. You know our first guest tonight from his work on Saturday Night Live and Bupkis, as well as movies like Dogman, Body Bodies Bodies, and The King of Staten Island. He stars alongside Eddie Murphy in The Pickup, which is streaming now on Prime Video. Let's take a look.
You ain't been home since Friday?
No.
And you peed, right? Because we ain't stopping.
Hey, if I have to piss, I'll piss in the gun port. I'll in the gun port. Whatever, man. Whatever gets you home tonight in time for your special day, huh? Happy anniversary.
Hey, don't be abbreviating my wife's name and humping and pumping in the chair. What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
How you even know my wife's name anyway?
I'm your son. I'm just kidding. I heard you say it before. I'm sorry.
Hey, he's starting off on the wrong foot.
Please welcome back to the show our friend Pete Davidson, everybody.
What's up?
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
I mean, I would have guessed there's no bigger news than the fact that you're in a movie with Eddie Murphy, but you have bigger news.
Yes.
You have bigger news. You're gonna be a dad.
I'm gonna be a dad. Thank you.
I met your girlfriend Elsie backstage. It's very exciting for both of you. How are you feeling?
I'm stoked.
It's really exciting.
I can't wait. Let's go.
Let's go. You can't wait.
I'm so excited. I've never been more excited for anything.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you. You know, Eddie Murphy, obviously, he's a dad.
Yeah.
Is he someone who's given you advice on fatherhood when you were on set?
It's weird. Everybody I've ever talked to that's a dad, puts their arm around me. They're like, hey, let me, Eddie was like, I got no advice for you. He goes, you're on your own. Yeah.
I think that's not a bad way to go about it, to let you know.
He was like, you can't tell anyone how to do.
Yeah.
You're going to do your own thing.
Yes, I think instincts kick in a way that is very, I don't know, it's like a refreshing moment when you're like, oh, I think I know what I'm supposed to do here.
Well, yeah, I'm excited. And you're a great dad.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But that's anecdotal. You've never seen me be a dad.
No, I've seen.
Have you seen me with my kids?
At the vineyard.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You
Yeah.
did see me with my kids.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
that's good. You caught me on a good day.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
I will say there
Great
is something.
father.
Here's something I can tell you about being a dad, which you will be a little ashamed of. Like when your friends are around, you realize like, oh, I'm being a little bit better than I am when people aren't around. Like when you're an observable dad, that's like kind of your
When you're
best dad.
performing?
Yeah, it's amazing. Especially, you and I, we're thespians.
Yes.
We will take on the role of father, and then like your friends leave, and your kid's like, "What was that?" They're like, "More of that, please."
I'm just excited for that excuse I could use.
To like
the kid.
Yo.
I can't come out tonight. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm also excited to see how full of my friends are that have kids.
Oh, you mean like how you're like, oh, I could
can't-
definitely go out.
Can't make it, can't do that all the time, so I'm
Yeah.
interested.
You will find that, and again, this is why I kept having them. Like people, like they'll say stuff like, "You only got 2. You can come out tonight." So I just have 3 now. So I'm like, I can't do it. I got 3 kids. I can't do any of the you want me to do. I think obviously some nerves are going to kick in as it gets closer. Did nerves kick in on the fact that you were doing a buddy movie with Eddie Murphy?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was freaking out when I got the offer. I was just like, what the hell?
Were you like that, Eddie Murphy?
No, yeah. I just was like, are they sure? Who dropped out? But yeah, I kept it really cool until, what was cool is we shot around, Tim Story, the director, who's great, gave me like a week of scenes with other people and to get like kind of, and then he put me and Eddie in the truck and we just had a really good time.
This is a very fun movie that is both a buddy movie and a heist movie.
Yeah,
which
old
are
school.
a couple of genres that I really love, and Keke Palmer's in it as well.
She's amazing, yeah, she's
You
great.
guys kind of get tricked into being participants in a heist.
Yes. Well, yeah, we are not aware that we're in a heist.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Anybody who was like
Yeah.
watching the clip being like, oh, they're playing smart guys.
no, yeah, we are just regular guys doing our route, and then all of a sudden, Keke just shows up and it all up for all of us. And we have no idea what's going on the entire time. And it was an absolute blast. I still can't believe I'm in it.
It's really, when the last time Eddie was here, it was kind of amazing because I feel like you cannot mention anyone in sort of the last 40 years of culture that Eddie doesn't have a story about. Did you?
Right.
Was that your experience with him, that he could just, He's met everybody over there, you know, of course, the last 4 days.
Well, his name, you can't beat his name drops. Him or
Yeah.
Lauren, you just can't beat.
Yeah, it's true,
You know,
yeah.
because I'll be like, I was chilling with Vinny from the Jersey Shore, right? And, and he'll be like, I was with Sammy Davis Jr. And you're like, oh, okay, you win. You win that one. Okay.
And the difference, I will say, no shade on Lauren, who has great name-dropping stories, but Lauren never does impressions. Like, that's the other great thing.
Right.
When Eddie tells you a story, I mean, he was here, he literally was telling a story about how he met Yul Brynner, and then you're like, and then he does, and I'm like, oh my God, Eddie Murphy has a Yul Brynner. Whereas, like, Lauren literally only has a Lauren.
Lauren just talks like
Yeah, no, I think Lauren will be like, you know how Eddie Murphy's always like, it's good to see you, Pete? Like, no, that's not. That's not how Eddie Murphy talks. All right, I have a lot more questions for you. We'll be right back with more from Pete Davidson. Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Pete Davidson. I saw you at the SNL 50th, and I was very jealous about your seating assignment. Because it was like, that was the most fun. It's not just seeing people, but then like looking on either side to be like, who did they put him next to? And Pete and Meryl, you know, classic. How was Meryl to go through an evening like that with?
Meryl rules. I hadn't, you know, in typical SNL fashion, they don't tell you anything.
No.
You don't even know what's going on. And I get to my seat and I just look and I'm like, this can't be right. And it was Meryl Streep, and I just sat down and I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I'm sitting next to you. You're the best. And she was very nice.
Yeah.
She was just like, no,
She was
no.
really nice. And she did a sketch. You both did a sketch and were in a pre-tape. And I wanted to ask, so you were in, you know, the musical sketch.
The classic Mulaney one, yeah.
Yep, Jost and Mulaney joint. And then you were also in a pre-tape with Lorraine Newman.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, what's more nerve-wracking, being on stage or being the audience while everybody's watching you?
Well, as you know, from SNL 40, terrible audience.
Yeah, terrible audience.
It's a terrible audience.
Yeah.
It's just famous people.
Yeah.
And famous people only like themselves.
Yep.
So it's true.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of this.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care.
I remember that when the pre-tape was playing, you were
was
the
like-
only one laughing.
Yeah, I was like,
We were like, oh, he's coming in way too hot.
no, I was like, you have to watch, and Chad's fun. It's my one character that I got to do in 8 years of SNL. I had one character, but it's not a very flattering character,
Yeah.
And Lorraine, everyone was so excited to see Lorraine, and then I just had my shirt off, and I'm like, hey.
It was genuinely very sweet, and I was very happy. Mikey and Streeter write that with you?
Yeah, so that was I don't know if you know the origin of Chad, but it was a joke on me. Like, they wrote it because that's how, if anybody ever gave me notes on set.
Yeah.
Like, they'd be like, hey, in this one you have to go over there, and I'd be like, okay, cool. So, and then they brought it to the table, and I was like, well, I don't get this. Like, what the hell? What is this? And I said the first okay, and everyone was like, ah! I was just dying. And I was like, oh, I guess I really talk like that.
It was great, and it was very sweet. I think what you guys did, the moment you allowed Lorraine to have was also really special and cool.
Oh, she's a legend,
She's a legend. It was
Also,
great.
was just so cool to be around her, and she was so funny and nice and was silly with me. It was great.
I wanted to ask, because we've talked in the past about how you had a minivan, and now that you're having a child,
Yes.
I wanted to check in to see if you still have a minivan.
So I had the minivan when I was doing a lot of drugs.
Okay. Great.
A minivan is a great car if you're a drug addict, because cops don't really pull over minivans.
Great.
You could speed in a minivan, and cops see a minivan
They're
speeding.
like, oh, they probably got to get the babysitter home.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. So, but I also didn't realize when you see me in a minivan, you think things aren't going so well. so I got rid of it.
Yeah.
But it was the most fun. I gotta say, the Honda Odyssey, one of the best cars ever. It was amazing. Yeah.
But now,
Yeah.
and now you, is it true that you own the Escalade that Tony Soprano actually drove on The Sopranos?
I do.
Now, see, I would think that's a car somebody taking drugs would drive.
Well, it's cool. First of all, it's my favorite show ever.
Of course.
I watch it twice a year. I don't think there's anything or will ever be anything remotely as good.
I do concur with that opinion, but I've heard you describe it as Christmassy.
It is Christmassy.
Okay, because
It's-
I love it too, and not my top 1,000 adjectives.
Right. No, it's family oriented.
very, yeah,
It's
that's
all
true.
about family
Yeah.
and murder, I guess. and murdering your family.
I'm finding out a lot about Staten Island Christmases by you saying.
Yeah. But it's also, I feel like it's, if you're from the tri-state or East Coast,
Yeah.
it's a very, you're like, I know 20 of that guy.
Yeah.
I know 20 Paulie Walnutses.
Yeah, I also feel like even though that shows from like late '90s, early 2000s, I think there's still a lot of people who look and talk exactly like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That era is like kind of a forever era.
If you go to Staten Island, everybody looks like that.
Speaking of, last thing I'm going to ask you, speaking of Staten Island, you and another Staten Island sons, Colin Jost, you guys bought that ferry.
We did.
Staten Island ferry.
Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't heard any updates for a while, though.
So we got some updates. It's still afloat. No, so, people, I told this, but, like, people don't understand, like, it's a giant ferry that was decommissioned.
Yeah.
And when me and Colin got the call, they were like, we should just at least bid on it.
Right.
We had no idea that nobody else would.
Yeah. Right.
Like, we didn't know. And then we were like, okay, this is exciting. It's Staten Island. At least it's us. And, we did the Tommy Hilfiger show on it.
Yeah.
And now we have a couple things that I don't even know if I could talk about yet, but
Yeah.
we have a couple brand things coming out and some cool stuff. And it's just like, it's a long process.
I'm going to say something that I'm a little embarrassed by, which is I only was on the Staten Island ferry for the first time last year because my son, I was on a field trip. I was a chaperone on a field trip. When I saw,
good dad.
Good dad, that's true.
Yeah.
When I saw the size of the ferry, I laughed so hard. It was like 10x what I thought you guys had
It's
bought.
a 5,000 seater. It has 4 floors.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
yeah.
rebuilt 1 floor, and then we're using that for now. And then once we accrue some more, we will do some more floors.
I love that when you guys try to flip this, you're going to be like, and there's 4 more floors. And they're like, can we see it? And you're like, you cannot see the other floors. Well, I'm very excited, and I feel like no matter how it turns out, I'm going to enjoy hearing the stories about it.
Yes.
But mostly, I'm just so excited for you and the family you're about to start, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
What a delight.
Thank you. Love you, buddy.
Pete Davidson, The Pickup, streaming now on Prime Video. We'll be right back with Taylor Schilling.